Hello and welcome to the new session on fluid mechanics. As I had told you in the previous class, we would now in this class be discussing on applications of Bernoulli's equation. This is second part of module 3. That means on this part also you will have exclusive questions mixed with the chapter 1 of module 3. That means you will have 5A, 5B, 6A, 6B are the questions that you will have in the question paper from module 3. Usually 5A will be from first chapter and 5B will be from second chapter. 6A again preferably from chapter 1 and chapter 2 will be 6B or vice versa. However, you will get a total quantity of 20 marks out of this, but the questions will be set for 40 marks. Now, this chapter, as I have told you, deals with the application of Bernoulli's equation. The greatest application of Bernoulli's equation is to find out the discharge or the quantum of flow in the pipes. Now, when I say that, you will have to have certain instruments to measure the rate of flow. Nowadays, we have found excellent instrumentation with the improvement in technology. We will have contactless measurement of discharge as well, and you have the photogrammetry developed, and using which also you can find out the discharge. And you have many other electronic devices based on sensors that will help you find out the discharge in the pipe. However, this is one method or one application of Bernoulli's equation using which also you can find the discharge. This is the most conventional method of finding out the discharge in pipe flow. Now we are dealing with pipe flow. In the later stage, that is in the fourth module, you will study about open channel flow, the discharge measurement in open channel flow as well. But for the time being, we will discuss about one of the greatest applications of Bernoulli's equation termed as venturimeter, which is used to find out the discharge in a pipe. What is discharge? I have already mentioned to you that discharge means nothing but volume by time. So, quantum of flowing fluid per unit time is what we call as discharge. How do we make use of Bernoulli's equation? To find out the discharge is one of the important points that you will have to understand. And now basically what do we mean by venturimeter? What are the types of venturimeters we have? What are the parts of a venturimeter? All those things we will unfold one by one. So, by definition, venturimeter is a device used to measure discharge through a flowing discharge in a pipe using Bernoulli's equation. This purely works on the Bernoulli's theorem. What does Bernoulli's theorem say? That the total energy at any given point shall be equal or constant provided all the assumptions are satisfied. So, you will have to have a pipe in which flow is taking place. Venturimeter is a device that is fitted at different parts of pipes, usually permanently, so that you can continuously get the discharge through the pipe. Now, I will take one such venturimeter and depict. There are three types of venturimeters: horizontal venturimeter to place in the horizontal pipe, vertical venturimeter to place in the vertical pipe, inclined venturimeter to place in the inclined pipes. And each venturimeter will have three major parts. They are convergent, throat and divergent. With this little backdrop, I will draw first horizontal venturimeter and then try to derive an expression for discharge through venturimeter. Now, the three parts of the venturimeter will be depicted now. As I have told you, assume that you have a pipe, which is easier for me to draw. You have a continuous pipe. So, now I have taken a horizontal pipe. What I will do is to place the venturimeter, I will cut open the pipe. I have told you that there will be convergent, throat and divergent, and usually convergent is short and then you will have throat and you will have a longer divergent. The reasons and all those things I will let you know later. Now, you will have a small throat, and to which from the inlet of the pipe convergent is attached, and from there you have a long divergent to the outlet. So, this is nothing but convergent, this is throat, and this is divergent. Divergent is longer because when water flowing through this pipe enters into convergent, there is a very small distance, and in a small distance there is huge variation in dimension. So, there will be loss due to sudden contraction, and then you have throat, and then when it has to reach to the actual pipe dimension, to avoid the losses, you have been given a gradual transition. That is the reason why you have a longer divergent. Longer divergent will help you reduce the losses. So, you have short convergent and longer divergent, and throat is usually 50% of the convergent in dimension or in diameter. Now, how do I measure the discharge using this? The simplest principle involved here is, now when the water or any liquid that is flowing in the pipe, when it is led into the venturimeter through the convergent, and then it flows through the throat and then enlarges back into the pipe dimension, what actually is happening is there is change in dimension of the flow cross section that actually makes, if the cross section is reduced, that means area is reduced, the velocity will increase but pressure will also decrease. And then when you have area being increased, when area increases, pressure also increases but velocity decreases. The general notion is that if the area is increased, pressure decreases. No, but when area is increased, pressure also increases but velocity is what? Decreases. Be very careful in understanding. When, if you all come back to college and if I take you to the laboratory, I can definitely prove that when the dimension of the pipe is reduced, the pressure will also reduce. That can be easily shown to you in the laboratory. But for the time being, please make a note of this. When the area of cross section is increased, pressure also increases and velocity decreases. And when area is reduced, pressure is also reduced but velocity is increased. Based on that simple principle, we will work now. But how do I relate this to discharge is a very important concept. I will have to attach a manometer between the convergent and the throat. So, to do so, I will take a U-tube manometer. This has to be the differential U-tube manometer because both the ends of the manometer are now being connected to 2 points whose pressure difference are to be measured. I have told you that the area here is more, that means pressure will be more here. Here the area is less, so pressure will be less here. How will be the manometric arrangement? Prior to attaching the manometer to these 2 points, the level of manometric liquid would be same. But once it is attached, since the pressure at this point is higher, this would have pushed the manometric liquid low to a lower position, and here you will have at a higher elevation. This is nothing but your manometric fluid. So, this manometric deflection I will call as X, very important part. Now, the manometric deflection is in terms of the elevation difference of the manometric liquid, and it is termed as X, and you will have to convert this head into head of the liquid flowing through the pipe. That you can easily do because you know that it is rho into G into H. The pressure created by this height of the fluid is also generated by the other liquid. To find out from which height that is done, you will find out the equivalent head using rho into G into H. Now, from this what needs to be done is, you will have to find out the discharge. How is discharge related to all these things? If the diameter at this section is D1, the diameter of this section is D1 and diameter of this section is D2, and subsequently area of this section is A1 and area of this section is A2, you will have the area here and change velocity in the two sections. Once A1 V1 and A2 V2 are involved, you know that you can easily find out discharge. But how do I relate this x to all those things is a very important point that we will now understand. So what actually happens is, when flow is taking place through pipe and you have a venturimeter attached, because of the variation in pressure, that pressure variation will be shown in the deflection of the manometer. That reading also needs to be taken and kept. Now applying Bernoulli's equation between the two sections, which are the two sections? Inlet, this is the inlet, this I have written as throat, and this is nothing but outlet. So applying Bernoulli's equation between inlet and throat, you will get P1 by rho g plus V1 square by 2g plus Z1. At inlet, this must be equal to P2 by rho g plus V2 square by 2g plus Z2, that is at the throat. When they are equal, because the total energy must remain equal based on Bernoulli's equation. That's why I said this is based on the application of Bernoulli's equation. Z1 and Z2 will definitely get cancelled. Now I will write that. So applying Bernoulli's equation, you have, why I am writing it to the far end, I will also let you know. Applying Bernoulli's equation, what you actually have is P1 by rho g plus V1 square by 2g plus Z1 is equal to P2 by rho g plus V2 square by 2g plus Z2. Z1 and Z2 are at the same level because center of inlet as well as throat are at same level. So Z1 and Z2 gets cancelled. You are left with P1 by rho g minus P2 by rho g. I am just rearranging. This must be equal to V2 square by 2g minus V1 square by 2g. What is this P1 by rho g? Which is nothing but pressure at section 1 divided by specific weight. That means this is H1 minus P2 by rho g will similarly become H2. So this is V2 square by 2g minus V1 square by 2g. What is H1 minus H2? That is the difference of pressure heads between section 1 and 2, which can in short be written as H. So H is equal to V2 square by 2g minus V1 square by 2g. I will write this as equation 1 and retain. Because I have told you that there are three types of venturimeters. One is horizontal, the other one is vertical, and the other one is inclined. Now I have done the first part of the application of Bernoulli's equation to this setup. Similarly, I will draw a vertical venturimeter as well as inclined venturimeter and try to apply Bernoulli's equation to that and bring it to the same point and then continue, because from there onwards the derivation remains same. See, the derivation can be asked for all the three or any one of the three. That means the derivation will remain same after this point. So I will now draw vertical venturimeter also. So how do venturimeter look like in the vertical section? So I will first take a vertical pipe, and similarly in the similar to the first case, I will cut open the pipe and let the direction of flow be from top to bottom, and in the first case from left to right. So now what I will do is draw a throat at the center, and this is the convergent, this has to be the divergent. I will not name them again because it is already available here. So what I will have to do next is attach manometer to inlet and throat. So I will attach a manometer. So a differential manometer is attached. So again, pressure at this point will be higher because of the greater area. So the manometer liquid will be at a lower elevation in the limb connecting the higher area. and this is how this will look like. I will tell you in the later stage what is the significance of this manometric deflection. When we complete the derivation, you will definitely come to know what is the difference. And I will also write the inclined pipe here itself and then apply Bernoulli's equation between section 1 and 2. Here the section 1 is here, that is inlet, and throat is here. And I will now take an inclined pipe. And in the inclined pipe also I will cut open the pipe to insert venturimeter. I will draw the center line, which is an important component. I will draw the throat here. This is the convergent and this is the divergent and this is the throat. Again I will have to apply, I will have to attach the manometer between throat and inlet. To do so, I will attach a differential U-tube manometer. Again you can observe that pressure is more here and the level of manometric liquid will be definitely lower in the limb connecting that, and hence the manometric deflection X is as shown in the diagram. But the major difference between these two, that is vertical and inclined, from the horizontal is, in the case of horizontal pipe you had Z1 being equal to Z2, but in both vertical and inclined venturimeters Z1 and Z2 are not equal. You should be very careful with this point, and with that backdrop, keeping that in mind, I will apply Bernoulli's equation between section 1 and 2 of the vertical and inclined pipes. To clearly differentiate, I will first write this as horizontal venturimeter. Now for vertical and inclined venturimeter, when you apply Bernoulli's equation, that is P1 by rho g plus V1 square by 2g plus Z1 at the inlet. You can observe here as well as here, total energy will be P1 by rho g plus V1 square by 2g plus Z1. This must be equal to, according to Bernoulli's theorem, the total energy at the throat section. Total energy at the throat section is P2 by rho g plus V2 square by 2g plus Z2. Be very careful. Z1 and Z2 are not equal and they do not get cancelled. So while rearranging, what I will now do is, I will retain P1 by rho g plus Z1 as it is and bring the P2 by rho g plus Z2 from the right hand side as well, minus P2 by rho g plus P2 by rho g plus Z2. This must be equal to V2 square by 2g minus V1 square by 2g. P1 by rho g plus Z1 put together I will keep as H1. So this I will write as H1 and this as H2 must be equal to V2 square by 2g minus V1 square by 2g, and H1 minus H2 is nothing but H. Therefore, H is equal to V2 square by 2g minus V1 square by 2g. I will call this as equation 2. Please remember these two equations. Once you arrive at this point, rest of the things are same for both the derivations. Say if in the examination you are asked to find out the equation for or derive the equation for discharge through horizontal pipe or discharge through horizontal venturimeter, you will simply draw this and straight away go to application of Bernoulli's equation and continue. And if it is asked to find out the discharge through vertical venturimeter pipe, and straight away go to this. Do not go for this. And then when inclined venturimeter is given, do the same. That means this step. Now I will remove these two Venturi meters and continue the derivation. Okay. So what do we have to do? Now you have in both the equations, if you observe equation 1 and 2, you have two unknowns. To convert two unknowns into one unknown, you will have to have V1 also kept in terms of V2. How do I do that? Put in place of V1, you will have to keep that in terms of V2. How do I do that? From continuity equation, what do we know? A1 V1 is equal to A2 V2. So V1 is equal to A2 by A1 into V2. Call this as equation 3. Put this equation 3 in both 1 and 2. So you will have 1 and 2 becoming H is equal to, of course you should know what actually H is. H for horizontal Venturi meter is P1 by rho g minus P2 by rho g, whereas H for vertical and inclined Venturi meter is P1 by rho g plus Z1 minus of P2 by rho g plus Z2. So H is equal to, you have V2 square by 2g, V2 square by 2g minus, in place of V1 I will write A2 by A1 into V2 whole square by 2g. Now when you rearrange this, H is equal to 2g as LCM, 2g in the numerator. You can take V2 square outside because here also you have V2 square, here also you have V2 square. V2 square into 1 minus A2 square by A1 square. I will send this 2g to this side. So 2gh is equal to V2 square into, again if you take LCM here, A1 square into A1 square. In the numerator you will have A1 square minus A2 square. So on simplification you have V2 square, keeping it here, you have 2gh divided by A1 square minus A2 square divided by A1 square. Send this A1 square to the numerator, you have V2 square is equal to 2gh A1 square divided by A1 square minus A2 square, and taking the square root you have V2 is equal to A1 square, when put under square root becomes A1 root 2gh divided by A1 square minus A2 square. Now you have what actually you have in terms of V2. Now we know that Q is equal to A2 V2. Therefore Q is equal to A2 into, in place of V2 I will have to write A1 root 2gh divided by A1 square minus A2 square. Therefore Q can be written as A1 A2. Q can be written as A1 A2 root 2gh divided by root of all these places I had to write root of A1 square minus A2 square. Since no losses are considered, this can be treated as theoretical discharge. But when you consider the losses, how do I write this equation? So considering loss, first I will write that since no losses are considered, the above equation becomes Q theoretical is equal to A1 A2 root 2gh divided by root of A1 square minus A2 square. But considering losses, you can write Q actual is equal to CD A1 A2 root 2GH divided by root of A1 square minus A2 square, where CD is nothing but coefficient of discharge, which signifies the total losses and is usually between 0.98 to 1. Now, this is the equation for discharge through a venturi meter, and this also becomes the discharge through the pipe. Venturi meter is fitted only to find out the discharge through the pipe, which is the equation. If you observe, Q actual is equal to CD A1 A2 root 2GH divided by root of A1 square minus A2 square. Just observe this equation. CD is a constant which will be same for a given venturi meter. It doesn't change. So, no need of experiment. A1 is the area of inlet, so which is also fixed, which cannot change. A2 is nothing but area of throat, again that cannot be changed once the venturi meter is fixed. Now, what is root 2GH? Root of 2G, G is nothing but acceleration due to gravity and is a constant and cannot change. So, root of 2G is also a constant, divided by root of A1 square minus A2 square. Again I have told you, as A1 and A2 are constants, it cannot change. And in the entire equation, if you find out H, the equation that we find very useful to find out the discharge. How do you find H? That is the reason why we have attached the manometer to the inlet and throat of venturi meter. I will now display the relationship between this H and manometric deflection X. You please remember, H is nothing but for horizontal venturi meter P1 by rho g minus P2 by rho g, but for vertical and inclined venturi meters, this H represents P1 by rho g plus Z1 minus of P2 by rho g plus Z2. If you keep that in mind, which will be very helpful in solving a few numerical problems later. Now, I will have to have the relationship between H and X. So, what is H? H is the head that is required. What is X? X is the manometric deflection. If you go back to the section of manometers, what do we know about manometer is it will have to have a manometric liquid. If the manometric liquid is heavier than the liquid whose pressure is to be measured, and for that condition you have one set of equations. And when you have the lighter manometric liquid, you know when will we be using lighter manometric liquids? Whenever we go for inverted U-tube manometer, we will make use of lighter manometric liquids. In that case, the relationship between H and X differs. Otherwise, for all regular cases wherein you have heavier manometric liquid, so I will write that. So, relation between H and X, in that if you observe case 1, in case 1, heavier manometric liquid. For heavier manometric liquid, you have H is equal to, please remember what is H. H in case of horizontal venturi meter, P1 by rho g minus P2 by rho g. For vertical and inclined, it becomes P1 by rho g plus Z1 minus of P2 by rho g plus Z2. So, for both cases, H is equal to X, that is the manometric deflection, into S of manometric liquid, that is specific gravity of manometric liquid, divided by specific gravity of the pipe, specific gravity of the liquid flowing in the pipe, minus 1. And case 2 is nothing but lighter manometric liquid. The only change will be H is equal to X into 1 minus specific gravity of the manometric liquid divided by specific gravity of the liquid flowing in the pipe. With these two inputs, you must be able to solve all the problems related to venturi meter. I hope you have understood. You can always get back to me for any clarifications. Thank you.